world would not be the same. Few people laughed. Few people cried. Most people were silent. I remembered the line from the Hindu scripture, the Bhagavad Gita. Vishnu is trying to persuade the prince that he should do his duty, and to impress him takes on his multi-armed form and says, "Now I am become death, the destroyer of worlds." I suppose we all thought that, one way or another. Few people laughed.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Chief Gashir podcast. We're here, we talk about people, politics, and popular culture. I'm your host, the one and only Austin Creed. For those of you who heard that speech, that was the infamous Dr. J. Robert Oppenheimer. I actually saw the movie yesterday, and my friends, it was pretty good. Actually, I don't know about y'all, but I walk into movies today, and I tend to have a very low bar because a lot of Hollywood stuff today, not a huge fan. It's usually I walk in with high expectations, it doesn't meet it. But if I walk in with low expectations, usually it blows me out of the water, and I'm happy about it. So that's exactly what I did last night with some of my dear friends when we saw the movie. And I gotta tell you, for the large part of it, I was actually really excited about it. I thought it was great. Now, I will tell you, it was 3 hours. So, if you're not used to more historical stuff and you're used to the fantasy or the degeneracy you find in most movies today, well, let me tell you something. It's going to feel like a long movie. But I really wanted to discuss some of my impressions of the movie. Now, I will preface this by saying that I used to work with nuclear material when I was in the military, and so I learned a lot about this man and a lot about his legacy, which became the atom bomb, eventually the hydrogen bomb, leading to what we have, the nuclear weapons that we have today. Now, I will preface this by saying if you ever see me dance around certain topics, it's because I am unable to disclose things I may or may not still know because of legal reasons. But I do want to discuss the movie. I want to discuss aspects of it that I was happy with. Others I think I would have changed a little bit. And then at the very end, I will give you my recommendation. But I want your voice to be heard. So for those of you who are new to the channel and you're watching this on video, I have all of my links in my opening slide for my Twitter page especially, but also for the podcast if you want to listen to it on audio form as well. I have those there. It's at Sheep Get Sheared on all platforms. But my friends, I really want to dive into this. For those of you who are curious about seeing the movie, maybe you thought about it, maybe you're in the air, a little bit in the air, you're not sure if you're going to see it, you're not sure if it's dreck, garbage. Well, let me tell you, overall, I thought it was great. There were a couple, I will try to keep the spoilers to a minimum, because I'm sure most of you will see it. But there are a couple things that I definitely want to address. One of those is they very heavily reference his communist background, which I thought they would for sure mention it, but I did not think they would play it up, the politics of it, as they did. Because they made it, the Communist Party, almost seem like it wasn't that bad. And I had a little bit of a problem with that. Look, I get why they did it. Because most of the people that are in Hollywood are communist sympathizers. We know this. For those of you who are paying attention, we know this. This is nothing new. But something that I thought was interesting was they portrayed Oppenheimer in a very human way, which was great. But the thing that was interesting to me the most was showing his flaws, which I thought was very good, but at the same time, it almost kind of, how do I say this? They downplayed his genius a little bit by showing him as a womanizer, showing him as kind of he fumbled the bag in plain English. He fumbled the bag in his personal life big time. He was not good in his personal life. For those of you who know about him, very big low life in his personal life, okay? In my experience, all great men have great vices, and that's usually what leads to their downfall. The movie itself, my favorite scene from the movie, which I will do my best to not ruin, but still will mention it. My favorite scene was when Oppenheimer, after he had created the atomic bomb, goes to see President Truman. He meets with President Truman, and he mentions to Truman that he feels as though he has blood on his hands. Truman looks into his eyes, pulls out his handkerchief from his pocket, and he kind of like rubs his fingers, and he's like, "You think you got blood on your hands? They will not remember you, but they will remember the man who ordered it to be dropped, and that was me." Now, that scene may not sound that powerful, but it really was, because it highlights how controversial it was today in many academic circles that the atomic bomb was developed and dropped on the Japanese. Now, I hate to go out there and... No, actually, no, I don't. In fact, I'm going to tell you straight up, it was the right decision. I know it's going to offend certain people, and it's not meant to offend you. It's meant to show you reality, okay? There are a lot of politics at play, but when you take decisions made in yesteryear and you apply today's logic on them, nobody is safe, and everything will be put under intensive scrutiny. We all know this. Whether it's people, whether it was situations, whether it's circumstances, it does not matter. Anybody can be crucified in the court of public opinion today by the social justice warriors and their cohorts in the media, their cohorts in academia, and their fellow travelers in the Communist Party USA. They will look at the past and they will tell you this decision was bad. That decision was not thought out. That was not worth it. But let me tell you something. This movie highlighted for me the absolute necessity of using the atomic bombs on Japan during World War II. Now, Oppenheimer himself is an interesting tale. If you roll back the speech that I played before we started this show, you will see in his eyes, hear in his voice, the regret, the shame, and the weight. It's as though he is Atlas, carrying the world upon his shoulders, and the lives of all those affected by his child, the atomic bomb. My friends, I love how they highlighted in this movie how he was before and after the invention of the atomic bomb. I thought it was really well done how they portrayed his relationship with Einstein. That was really well done. I think the way they portrayed him is very, very smart and intelligent, but also had flaws. I don't know about you, but when I listen to a story, I don't care if it's a animated series, I don't care if it's a series like Game of Thrones, I don't care what series it is, but when the protagonist is not human, as in they don't have human flaws, for every advantage they have, there is something that hinders them, it's bad writing. Which is why I was very happy to look and witness how they portrayed Oppenheimer as larger than life, this genius, this Tony Stark of his time. Which is ironic because Robert Downey Jr. was in the movie, but he wasn't Oppenheimer. I found that very amusing. But nonetheless, when you look at his legacy, Many people scrutinize him, and they don't realize the impact of the Manhattan Project. They don't realize the world we live in today was inevitable. If he hadn't, I love how they highlighted this. By the way, I'm trying to keep the spoilers to a minimum by only bringing up the concepts that they address. Because I want you to go, and I want you to go see this movie. If you care about American history, if you enjoy looking at World War II stuff, whatever it is, you should go see this. It was very well done. Minus the communist glorification and almost making America seem bad. Those were two minor scrapes I had, but I don't want that to take away from the movie itself. Now, I will admit, I did have a good laugh about how they treated the atomic bomb when it came to testing it at Los Alamos. I I had a good laugh. My buddy's going to attest to that because I've actually seen how you're supposed to handle that kind of material. And I had a good laugh and had a good kick out of it. But I don't expect Hollywood to know the inner workings of actual nuclear weaponry. I don't expect that. In fact, it would be more concerning if they did know, because they're not supposed to know that. But, my friends, when it comes down to it, when you look at men like Oppenheimer, you look at men like Albert Einstein, you look at these genius men, why is it that we don't see men like that today? No, I know we see guys like Elon Musk, we see guys like what is his name? Zuckerberg, guys like that who are good, big inventors of our time. But why is it that we are so quick to judge these men, and we don't provide the context of the war? We don't provide the context of the greater effect that they had on human history. If you enjoy the politics, if you enjoy, well, I know people that are big World War II buffs, like they are obsessed with it. You will love this movie. But my friends, Oppenheimer's a complicated character, and I think they did a good job portraying him. Nuclear weapons, especially with the war in Ukraine, have become a very popular issue again. They were very popular during the days of the Cold War, which is very lightly touched on in the movie itself. But something I really want to address with y'all is it's very applicable today, because when you look at Russia, you look at China, you look at the United States, you look at many other countries who also have nuclear weaponry, the idea of it destroying the entire world. That's why I played for you the speech by Oppenheimer about him quoting the parable about Vishnu in Sanskrit. It's very interesting stuff, by the way. With this idea of because when they were testing this out, this is not really a mild spoiler, this is just common knowledge. When they were trying to develop the atomic bomb, there was an equation that was written where there was a slightly above zero chance that the bomb, because of the physics involved with the neutrons and everything else, which I can't go into it because I might go into a place I shouldn't go. But when it comes down to it, based on how the atom splits and then comes together, reforms and splits and reforms, there was a chance that they thought that the bomb would have this ripple effect, that it would not just stop with the initial explosion, but would carry on into the atmosphere, and then it would destroy the entire planet. This was a real concern. And they highlighted that at the very end of the movie, Oppenheimer was very regretful of what he had done. They compared it to trying to put the genie back in the bottle after you summoned him, which I thought was good because I was thinking about it the whole time. That was a perfect analogy. But my friends, this idea of nuclear weapons becoming this Frankenstein with which you would destroy the world. You know, I will get down to it. I love this movie because it highlights one reality that I have discussed on this show before. And it's this simple fact. everyone creates the thing they dread. I know that's a quote from a movie, but I enjoy that quote so much because I'll tell you something. You look at the life of Oppenheimer. He was a man with a philosophical mind, a theoretical mind, who wanted to understand the world in which he lived. He was so desperate to understand the world around him, to make it make sense, to explore the paradoxes, explore the paranormal, everything that could be grasped. He tried to get every single thing he could in understanding the forbidden knowledge of the earth. And by trying to obtain the knowledge of the world, he created a weapon that could destroy the very world he was trying to understand. Very interesting, isn't it? He was so desperate to understand the secrets of the world that by doing so, he created a weapon that could destroy the very world he was trying to explore. Very interesting, right? My friends, if you enjoy historical documentaries, war movies, if you enjoy that kind of stuff, you would love this movie. And I think it's rare that we see a portrayal of a genius like this. Now, I know he was a communist sympathizer. I understand that. I'm not justifying his politics. I'm justifying his ability to... I appreciate the man for who he was when it comes to his intelligence and the mark he left on humanity and on the world at large. If you need to, put like a little thing in your ear to drown out all the communist sympathizing, because that's going to pull away from the message of this movie. And the message of the movie to me is the fact that everyone creates the thing they dread. I want you to keep that in mind. Because if you look at his whole life and his legacy, that's exactly what I think he would say. Is through his desperate desire to understand the world and the universe, he created something that could destroy the very universe he was attempting to understand. But the nuclear weapon has come a long way since the days of Oppenheimer and post-World War II. It was very interesting to see the baby bomb as compared to what we have now and what Russia has now, what China has now. Very humbling, if you ask me. And he knew this was happening. He knew this would happen. And he addresses that in the movie. He knew it was inevitable. Excuse me. My friends, I wanted to share that with you today. I thoroughly enjoyed the movie. I recommend you go see it. I think it's one of the better movies that's been made recently. I don't even see a whole lot of movies anymore because most of it's garbage. But I think this was a very well done movie. And I recommend you go see it. Anyways, my friends, I think that's all I'm going to say for today. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, feel free to direct it over to my Twitter page, which I will put up at the very end of this video. I will show the link to my Twitter and the link to the podcast itself. But until next time, my friends, God bless you, God bless your family, and God bless this beautiful country called the United States of America. We're out of here. Peace.